Good evening. This is Michael Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. I want to try to do a very quick video to address a couple of issues that have been going on and kind of talk about how I'm going to modify things in order to deal with them. As always, I want to thank our Patreon patrons, our subscribers through the website, and the people who donate through the various means, which I'll show you here shortly. All the people who financially help keep this page going. It looks like a lot of names, but I'm barely making any money on this. I'm barely past breaking even. So, and then I want to thank our sponsors, of course, as always. What I want to talk about first, and I will get to some forecast stuff as you see here. I posted this the other night because I was talking about how the videos that I've been posting to Patreon and YouTube and sharing to Facebook, they're not doing well. They're getting, they started off where I was getting, 50 or 60 views, and then it dropped down to 30 some, and then it dropped to 20 and 10. And finally, the last video I did, the last time I checked, it had 2 views. So, as I posted on Facebook about that, I had a lot of you saying that you're no longer seeing seeing what I'm posting on here. It's fallen out of your algorithm or what have you. So, I want to make sure I made a post about this, but I want to talk about this in video form also. And go up here to the top of the page, click the 3 dots. If you haven't already done this, click the 3 dots, and that'll open up your following options. And then make sure that you have selected all 3 of these: your posts, videos, and live feeds. I'm sure I'm not making any offers, so the offers don't really matter that much. But make sure that you have checked all of these, and then you should get notifications. And I say should get notifications whenever I post, because obviously it's not doing you any good to see radar images that are 3 days old or even 3 hours old, and in the cases of severe events, even 30 minutes old. You need to know when they're coming out. So check these and make sure. This should help you get more notifications. And then the other thing is, when you see our posts, whatever I post on here, like it. I don't care if it's got 300 likes. Like it, or comment on them. Something, interact with every post that you see, and that also will make Facebook move it up in your algorithm, because then Facebook sees that it's a page you're interacting with, you're not just looking at, you're doing something with, and that'll help you to move it up in your algorithm as well. Facebook's kind of become a bit of a pain in the behind to do live things. Anything that's time sensitive, Facebook has become kind of a problem with, and they keep making it harder for you to keep it in your algorithm. But those are the things. Again, go up to the 3 dots, click on that, and then select these 3 as your follow options. And then also, again, like the post. If you see a post, like it, and that way it starts building it into your algorithm, where you look at these posts, and it should help you to get notifications on them faster. So the other thing, of course, I mentioned supporting the page. That enthusiasm on that has slowed down again. Again, like I said, you see a lot of names on those, but I'm just barely past breaking even, so I'm not making a lot of money on this. So again, we have a lot of options. The Patreon, that's the other thing. The same thing happening with the videos is happening with the Patreon. I was posting some things there that only patrons could see, and it's getting almost no views. I think the most any one of those that I hadn't shared to Facebook, the most any one of them had gotten was 10. Most of the views were 2 or 3. So there's not a lot of interaction on the Patreon. And I've talked to a handful of people about it, and they really are still just viewing things through Facebook, and they just viewed the Patreon as another avenue through which they could donate. So I'll leave the Patreon there, and of course I'll post to the Patreon. I may still do a few exclusive things there just because, but as a whole, it looks like I'm just going to move everything back to where I'm posting to social media, because quite frankly, I was just adding an extra layer of things for me to do anyway. So if people aren't viewing it through Patreon, then there's no need to do a bunch of exclusive stuff there. So I'll do more things on here, try to add value on here on these social media sites. And then hopefully it'll become enough that'll be worth the to some of you, to more of you, to donate to the page. I said on the madcoweather.com, if you go to that, you literally can do $1 a month. And I mean, I just had somebody else sign up for $1 a month. And as many, the thousands of people that watch this could do some awesome stuff if everybody that watches these things just at $1 a month. So there is that option there. Again, there's, PayPal, Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, or Facebook Pay and Messenger. There are, a lot of different ways you can support the page. So please do so if you can. So enough of all that stuff. I just wanted to give you an idea of how to move these things up in your algorithm and try to make sure that you're getting notifications. Beyond that, all my settings are where they should be. So beyond that, it's just Facebook being Facebook and being a problem. So one of the things I'm going to get into, I'm going to show you the 7-day forecast. By the time you see this video, it would have already posted to the social medias, but I talked a little bit about the potential for a hurricane next week. So this is the GFS model, and so model outputs can only be taken for so much. But the GFS has this hurricane by next Wednesday running off of the western coast of Florida and tracking up and making a landfall kind of up in the curve between the peninsula and the panhandle. And so the reason I want to talk about these, the National Hurricane Center right now, their forecast has it actually turning sooner and making an impact as a major hurricane in the southwestern part of the peninsula, and then heading on up just off of the east coast. The farther east that it tracks, one, it increases our dry trends, which we're already going to be dry as it is, but it also then will allow high pressure that will develop out to the west to eventually start to build in, but also allow this low pressure that's in between. If this hurricane's turning sooner, it's probably a good indication that low pressure trough is dug in, the upper level trough is dug in deeper and is pushing the storm farther off to the east. So we may have some cooler risk to that. The farther west it comes, especially if it were to somehow make it over here to Louisiana or Texas, which I don't think it will, but if it did, they tend to pump warm air up the front side, warm, humid air. So if it comes out here and were to track in, it would pump warmer, humid air out in front of it. We would have a greater risk of being warmer ahead of the storm, so that would be earlier in the week. And I don't think that's going to happen, but just the farther west this goes, the higher our warm risk ahead of the storm is, and then the less the cool risk behind the storm is. The farther east it is, the more likely it is that we're going to stay a little bit cooler. And that's kind of the way I'm leaning right now, and the way the National Hurricane Center, again, has it turning down here. There's no way to know just yet because the strengths of the high pressure that's here and potentially another one that might be out here to the southwest where this is currently showing a low. The strength of those is going to dictate a lot, so we need to see how that kind of stuff will develop. But I just wanted to talk about a little bit why I'm talking about the hurricane and how it's going to affect things. And if this stayed way off in the Atlantic, I probably wouldn't have changed my forecast timing on anything at all. But the Fiona went off into the Atlantic. This then is coming in behind as the steering currents changed behind Fiona. So I just briefly wanted to talk about that and how this hurricane can impact our pattern. So with that said, I'm going to wrap this thing up here and go to this is another thing I really, really need to improve is my computer it is so slow. It's insane how slow it's getting. It's old and it's just not really doing what it should be doing. Let's try it this way because it doesn't want to click. So here's the 7-day forecast that again you all will have seen. And at this point I'm assuming that the hurricane is going to stay farther to the east and southeast. in which case this cool shot that I really kind of expected in the long range to occur, out into the weekend, as it's gotten closer, it's actually occurring sooner, hitting us here at the end of September instead of the beginning of October. But we'll see how that hurricane tracks, because that will affect the temperatures at the end of next week, and potentially, if it were to come farther west, it could impact these temperatures on Monday and Tuesday as well. So again, this is your 7-day forecast. Not a whole lot going on beyond the weekend. Our Sunday rain chance is not really looking that good at this point either. It's really looking like it's going to dry up as that front comes through. So with all that said, this is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. Thank you all for following, and thank you all for trusting me with your weather. And thank you to all of you who support and can support and do. We'll have you guys have a great weekend. Hopefully we get a win from the Colts on Sunday. Doubtful, but hopefully we do. And we'll see you with the new forecast on Sunday evening. Thank you.